Welcome to another episode of Roadmen Reviews.
You didn't join in this week. I'm happy with that. That's season 22. Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another brand new episode of Roadmen Reviews. My name is Fahad Nagas and I'm joined today, as always, who the hell is Chat? As always, by The Rock. If you smell what he's cooking, Mufid Hassan, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
That was a very enthusiastic Mufid today, and
no, because
you're really happy with this song to talk about, aren't you? And
well, I appreciate the comparing me to The Rock. So
I like that. And
I'm not a Rock.
And Rikishi himself, Ahmed. How you doing, Ahmed?
You see, this is why. Now the viewers think I'm some obese guy. Yeah. Who's Rikishi anyway, by the way?
Do you know Rikishi?
The wrestler.
Yeah. He was like 6'2" and 700
Guys,
pounds.
just to let you know, my body figure is closer to Idris Elba. I just wanted to highlight that. But anyway.
Chach, who would you be? You'd be Eddie Guerrero.
Chach would be him, but Fahad would be Eddie Guerrero. Isn't he dead? I'm a dead. Oh wow. Okay. Moving on anyway, because this could get very dark very, very quickly. We're here today to talk about Blade Runner. Was it Blade Runner 2049? That was the name of it. I can't even remember that. But Blade Runner 2049. We caught that a couple of weeks ago, and because the show's called Roadman Reviews, we're going to upload it probably about a month after the movie actually came out, but it's all good. As always, spoiler alert before we start talking about the movie and going into details. Probably going to be a bit divisive here today on the show compared to kind of the general consensus out there, just to give you guys a heads up. But before we do that, before we dive into the movie, Movie's actually fuming right now. He's got steam coming out of his ears. Just kind of want to ask you guys: have you seen the original Blade Runner by any chance? And if you have, kind of, what were your thoughts on that?
I actually haven't, no. I haven't seen the
I watched highlights of it.
Yeah?
And that was bollocks. Just imagine, those were highlights. Not the 2.5 hour, 3 hour movie, or however long it was.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it a couple of years ago. Obviously, it's one of those films that are rated very, very highly. I just thought it was a bit overrated, to be honest. I didn't really get it a lot. People say you have to watch it a couple of times to get it. I saw it once and I wasn't really a big fan of it, but
Can't watch it once.
Yeah, that was my thoughts. So, okay, Blade Runner 2049. What is this film all about? Well, that's a very tough question for us to kind of answer. But to the best of my ability, I guess it's about a replicant or what are they, like clones or I guess fake people,
they're just
robot kind of things. Tasked with kind of finding another robot, a mystery. It's like a noir movie. Amazing description, as you can see, because this film really engrossed me. So that's what the film's all about in a very broad kind of sense.
Just think of it this way. I think it's Terminators with emotion. Or try to have emotion.
Yeah. So it's basically I'd say a murder mystery, a mystery movie trying to get to the bottom of a mystery of like a fucking thing. I don't know. This movie's fucking shit. That's my overview. My overview. This is what I thought about the movie. My initial thoughts. Fucking hell, I was disappointed with this movie. Ahmed, go. What was your thoughts about this movie? Did you enjoy it? You thought it was crap?
It was okay. When you sit in the film and you're waiting for it to pick up. So it's the first. It's a 2 hour 43-minute film. So you're thinking, the first 20 minutes is gonna be slow. No problem. It gets 20 minutes. Okay, the next 20 minutes will be slow, and then it gets to 20 minutes, and you're thinking, okay, an hour. This next hour better be good. And then it gets to the last half an hour. You're thinking,
40 minutes. Okay, maybe. 40.
You know what? Just give me that last action-packed. Wow, 40-minute spectacle. And then the best bit of that film was when someone in the audience threw a can of coke at someone else. I don't, advocate violence, but that made me laugh.
I was going to say, that kind of summed up my feelings in the film as well. It was beautiful how our thoughts on the film were summarised by one person in the audience dashing a can of coke in the front of the screen. That's basically what happened. Mufid, your initial thoughts on the movie?
That movie. So normally when I watch movies, I never get out on my phone and never talk to people. Obviously, because you're just there, you're concentrating on the movie, and just watching it, and you're just enjoying it. This movie had me thinking, do I want to go toilet now? Yeah, I'll go toilet now. And then I thought to myself, no, I can't be bothered to go toilet actually. So about halfway through the movie, for about an hour or so, I thought to myself, if I go to the toilet now, what toilet do I go to? How long will it take to get there? Do I use the urinals, the cubicle? I was basically thinking about other things, and then I was thinking to myself, oh, actually I'm hungry as well, so what should I eat?
That's like you want to be having.
And then I took out my phone, and then in the screen you can't get signal, so I thought, well, that's useless. I can't use my phone, so I turned around to Abs, who was next to me. Thought to myself, this movie's boring. I think we both agreed, and I thought to myself, but like Chach and Ahmed are not saying anything, so are they enjoying the movie? So I turned. It was about an hour and a half in, I think, and I turned to Chach and I said to him, like obviously I'm asked him, what do you think? He said, what the fuck's going on? And at that point I thought, alright, it's the movie, that's alright,
it's really interesting. I mean, this is the first film I think us guys have kind of been talking about here where the critical consensus is there. I think it's like in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes, like all the reviews I've seen have been very, very positive on it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit weird how like us guys just all thought it was shit. Like, usually when a movie is like gets that high, we're kind of on the same consensus with that.
Even when you think about it, what happened in the movie?
Yeah.
I mean,
spot on.
Like, what was the plot? What was the time?
I'm human. I'm a special child. Oh no, I'm
He
not.
was just a person. He had a hologram of a wife that kept making him stuff, and then decided to merge with someone to have coitus with him. I say coitus. What was the point of the movie? Basically, what was the point? And then at the end, it was alright because there was a fight scene between Ryan Gosling and the woman, and that lasted like a minute.
Yeah.
And then it just finished, and I thought,
what do you think? Okay, let's kind of get to the specifics here then about the movie, and obviously we're quite disappointed by this film. But what do you think it is? Was it for you guys at least? Was it the fact that you went in with really high expectations because of Denis Villeneuve, the director? You thought it'd be amazing, and because of the legacy of the film that you were disappointed, or what was it specifically? I mean, for myself at least, I think hands down it was just the pace of the film was way too slow. It was ridiculous. I remember the original Blade Runner was incredibly slow as well, which is kind of one of the reasons why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But with most of Denis Villeneuve's films, even though they're very slow paced, like Enemy, Prisoners, I'm still engrossed by the film. It still kind of grabs me and stuff. Whereas this one, it seems to be very pretentious. It seems to be very slow just for the sake of being slow. I mean, I can tell you this now. The first hour of this film could literally be done in about 5 or 10 minutes. It was just way too slow for me at the moment. And I know that they're going to probably be the one person that's probably watching this video will probably be us anyway. But the people that do watch this are obviously going to disagree with us about this. But I just think it was. Some people go into movies and they just like them for the sake of being good, and they think that it's good for the sake of it. Whereas this, I can't say it was a good film. I think it was just too slow. It was just too slow for my tastes. Too overly pretentious, I felt as well. It wasn't the fact that none of us guys got the film. We know exactly what happened in the film. We know the plot from the beginning to end. We know about the replicant children, what all the dreams mean, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't any of that stuff. It was just the fact that this one was just disappointing. That was my one kind of big thing. The pace was just way too slow. I mean, what about you, Ahmed?
I mean,
if you have to narrow it down to one thing.
Well, for me, I don't know. I mean, expectation-wise, I had none. I haven't watched the original. Yes, Villeneuve is a great director, but I don't go into a film expecting amazing. Apart from Nolan, I lie. Other than Nolan, I don't really go into a film thinking, that director's there's going to be an amazing film. For me, the biggest problem I have is, what was the purpose of this film? Was this a story about a father reuniting with his lost daughter, or about a replicant understanding or believing he's human and then he's not, which was probably the only thing that was interesting, the only twist that I liked. Or replicants can have baby, which, considering that's a big thing physically as well, there was no explanation how or nothing. So I came out of that movie, like I said, it's already slow paced. There's no dumb action to distract me. Yeah. So you come out thinking, okay, I don't understand what journey I went on. I don't understand what I was following, and that was it. That was what I was disappointed.
I mean, what about you, Mufid? If you have to narrow it down to just one point, I know there's a lot obviously that you don't like.
I just don't understand the movie. Obviously, you mentioned that it was too slow, but even if it was an hour and a half, I still come out of that movie thinking, what the fuck was that about? And that's my issue with it.
And the pacing.
It's just, what happened?
Yeah.
What actually happened? What was the story about?
I feel, you know what?
Because there's no storyline behind it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind if a movie is 9 hours long.
Yeah.
If it's got a plot, then obviously you'd be sitting down watching it and not thinking about the time because you're obviously you're intrigued in the movie and you're actually watching it. But if you're sitting in a 3-hour movie or even a half an hour TV show, let's say, that's just completely bollocks, has got nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
That half an hour will still be a half an hour waste of time, and that half an hour will feel like 3 hours. So
okay, well let's move on a little bit then to
let's talk about the movie.
let's talk about some of the acting in the film and the characters. I think for me personally, Harrison Ford is always going to be good in whatever film he's in. Ryan Gosling, you know, he gave a good performance. What's the lady that's in House of Cards? Robin Wright Penn, is it? Yeah. She was obviously really, really good. But for me, the one character that really kind of pissed me off with his acting in the film was Jared Leto. I had no idea. Yeah, Jared Leto in this film. What was he doing, man?
You know what?
I'm putting on his ways. Too much, man.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie.
I think he overdid it, to be honest.
No, I liked it, man.
Yeah.
To be honest, the only issue I didn't have with this film was the acting.
Yeah.
That was the only problem. I didn't see it thinking, oh my. Even Bautista.
Yeah, Bautista was actually very good.
Really good.
He was very good in the film.
So I had no problem with the acting, and I actually liked Jared. Again, they introduced Leto as this big guy in the film, and he's in there 3 scenes reciting, I think, verses from the Bible or "I'm God, I'm a creator" concept, and that's it. Again, it's like, okay, did you introduce him for future films or whatever? But everyone, in terms of acting, everyone was good. I had no issues. Even the robotic wife, hologram girl, she did a good job.
Yeah, she was actually great.
Yeah,
she was. Well.
So for me, acting, I had no problem with across the board.
How about you, Muffy? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, the acting was normal basically.
Yeah,
it was alright. It was like amazing, but it didn't make up for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about the characters specifically and the character arcs in the film. I mean, it almost seems like the main character, Ryan Gosling, his name was it K?
Yeah,
what's the name of his
Agent
character?
K.
Agent K, whatever it was, Men in Black, like that. It's weird because his character arc in the film was basically, you find out at the end, was complete bullshit.
Yeah.
It was basically all just bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I think to summarise very quickly, it was like, oh, I'm the son of Harrison Ford's character, but then it turns out he isn't. And it turns out that all the other replicants that are the same model as him has the exact same experience that he does, and it was a bit of a waste for his character arc. I think Harrison Ford, he was the most interesting character for me in the film, but the fact is he's basically in the last third of the film.
Yeah,
he's in the last third of the film, and then you don't spend enough time with him to really kind of thingy. And then it's also quite hard to relate to characters, I guess, as well, when your main character is like a synthetic kind of person, so he's deliberately kind of withdrawing emotion, so it's quite hard when the rest of the world is cold. You don't really have a person to kind of gravitate towards, which is kind of another thing that kind of distances itself from the film there as well. I mean, again, are there any characters that kind of really stand out for you that were a little bit of interest, or you enjoyed their kind of individual story in the film? I mean, I am the captain now. What's his name? The guy from Captain Phillips. He was actually pretty funny.
Oh yeah, actually, to be fair, that was quite nice.
Yeah.
I was sat there thinking, is that? Yeah, I understand it now. Yes, I enjoyed part of the movie, and then it was over, and I was like, God damn it, we have to go back to this shit.
Well, let's move on to some of the other stuff.
I mean, just quickly.
Oh, okay, you're gonna do this.
Yeah, just
I
once.
like that.
There is. I mean, I know Ryan Gosling's arc at the end. There was
Ryan Gosling.
Oh,
okay.
Sorry, Agent K. Yeah, that's it. Gosling. Agent K. I think. I actually liked it. I liked his bit where he thought he was human. Oh, I'm special, and then it got taken from him. But like I said, the main issue was, all right, if that's your big moment, then it's not worth it. It's if that was halfway through the film where he finds out no, it's not him, and then for example Harrison Ford takes off the second half of the story, I could have said, you know what, great ploy, but it wasn't. Story wise, any of the arcs. You know what? I'd probably say the assistant, Jared Leto's assistant.
Oh yeah, she was actually very interesting.
Yeah, she started off as an assistant, and then you really notice, no, she runs the day-to-day of everything. And she's a bit of psycho, intimidating. But other than that, Bautista probably.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, let's talk about some of the other non-Broadway things that we always tend to talk about here as well. So like the production.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about the pace. That was really off. It was a bit too slow paced for my personal taste. editing was actually, you know what, I'll give this film credit in this area. I think one of the good positives about this film is that it's a very beautiful film. It's a really nice looking film. The action, although it's very brief, I think there's maybe 2 action scenes in the movie. There's the one where his car gets kind of crashed, and then the rocket, the lady controls the rockets from the top, and kills those homeless people, and then the fight scene at the end by the water, that was actually done quite well. The use of colours in the film, beautiful. I love the neon, the way the city kind of looks. I love the fact that it was kind of practical and kind of CGI as well. That was really, really good. So in terms of positives, that was kind of my big positive about the film. You know, the way it looks, the way it was shot. That was all done very, very well.
And the soundtrack, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Apart from maybe sometimes when it gets a bit too loud.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
a headache.
Very eerie.
Yeah. You're just thinking, all right, is that a ship or something? But no, visually. My only criticism though is visually it's beautiful and it's meant to be a whole world, but we don't really see the whole world, if you know what I mean. So the storyline that they've tried to sell to us is the world's at stake, replicant child, but we don't really see much of the world. It's the same location. Different locators bits within it, but beautifully done. But overall, I would have thought I wanted to see something else. Maybe the moon, because they refer to the moon quite a bit in the film. So maybe the moon, for example.
Do you guys think that this movie was almost like setting up another couple of films more so than focusing on this individual story? Because I mean, for me, it felt like the first 2 hours of the film were almost like, okay, here's a bit of a murder mystery type kind of movie, and then okay, here's Harrison Ford, here's the stuff that we really want to see. Because I said to you, the first like hour or two were just completely pointless. It did pick up towards the end. The film did get better as it went along, I thought, but it was just too little, too late. I thought, you know what I mean, in terms of that kind of shit.
Yeah. It was a crap movie.
I mean.
Sorry,
Yeah, so do you think it's setting up future movies and stuff? No. You don't? Well, this movie kind of flopped at the box office, didn't it?
Flopped is
$150 million budget, I think, and it made like 30 on its opening weekend, so that's really not good.
It's, I don't know, maybe it was advertised wrong, maybe I
think the thing, more than anything else, is the fact that, like, you know, the original Blade Runner, it wasn't a success in cinemas either. It was very divisive when it first came out. Like, this one had critical acclaim.
I think it became like
a cult film.
It is, they call it. After it came out, obviously when it came out on like TV and all the oldies, Blade Runner, remember this? And then obviously everyone started talking about it. And then,
but the thing is,
it's not mainstream enough as well. But
the thing is, alright, if you want to take it and make it contemporary, I know a lot of people give him criticism, but J.J. Abrams is a perfect example. He took Star Trek, a very geeky TV show, maybe, and off-putting maybe for the mass population, but he made it modern and cool. And even now, the Star Trek show on Netflix is his style of storytelling, and it's worked. It's got a bigger following. Blade Runner tried to be too
hipster, almost too artsy.
Yeah. And for the mass, have that conversation. Have that. There's a lot of interesting points you can make for script. You know, the concept of humans and replicants and having a child. You know, there's a lot you can discuss, but boost it up with that. Pick it up so that anyone who sits there in the 2 hour 40-minute cinema can still understand, but also enjoy the storyline. For me, and I'll be honest with you, every time there was a little bit of a pick up in the pace, like Ryan Gosling running through the wall, I kept thinking to myself, you know what? Give me more action with the guy. He must be really. If this guy's a Blade Runner, he must be really. Give us some bit more action just to show us his capabilities.
Yeah.
But
it was. I think just to summarise and just to kind of wrap things up, we were all quite disappointed with the film. Quite contradictory to a lot of what other people are saying, and I guess it's good that, you know, we recorded this a little bit later, so whoever wanted to kind of watch it could check it out. You know, we're never gonna shit on the film or influence anyone's opinion. That being said, no one's watching this anyway, so it's not saying that you can.
If you're watching this, don't watch the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Other than that, I guess we just wrap up with scores out of 10. So, Muffy, to start with you. To rate this film out of 10, what would you give it?
I wouldn't even give it a number. I'd give it like a letter.
A letter? F.
I can't give it a number.
I'll say.
Come back to me.
Yeah, okay. I'll say this about this film. It wasn't like a movie that was just awful, like, oh my god, it's so bad, this film. It's like, I'm laughing at how bad the film actually is. Yeah. It wasn't like, I don't know, let me see. Batman and Robin, for example, or one of those Meet the Spartan movies. It wasn't a bad film in that sense, you know what I mean? For me, it was just too slow and too boring and too tedious and too overpretentious in my own opinion. Acting again was really, really strong. I understand why kind of critics would love this film because it's kind of like their kind of wet dream or whatever, you know? But for me it was just too slow, and that's a bit of a crime. If I'm not enjoying myself watching a film, then a film fails in its first kind of thing. So for me, I'm just going to give it like, I think, a 5 out of 10. I think that's it's a beautiful film to watch. It's good enough, but for me, a 5 out of 10. What about you, Ahmed?
Yeah, 5 out of 10 suggests that you'd watch it.
Do you think Batman vs Superman is better than this?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Hell
the theatre
yes.
edition.
It doesn't matter what edition.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow, okay.
At least we get to see Batman beat people up.
Because 5 out of 10 suggests that you're on the fence about it. It's neither good or bad. Anyway, you can come back to your 5 out of 10 there, because I'm disappointed with you.
Giving you 1 out of 10. No, I think for me, look, this overall, like you said, it's the production and the acting. Yes, it gets its points, no doubt. The storyline is way, for a 2 hour 40-minute film, didn't do his job. And I'm sorry, having watched Wind River, which it's a slow paced film, there's no excuse for it. So I'm even harsher in that respect, because I have seen what a great slow paced story can do. So that's one. Having said that, now again, I don't know if I'm going to ever in my life, but Skyfall, if you remember the first time we watched Skyfall, we came out hating it. Well, I did anyway, I hated it. But when I watched Skyfall the second time...
Which one was Skyfall? Was that the most recent one?
The most recent one. No, the one before Spectre.
I liked Skyfall, I thought it was really good.
But the first time it came out of cinemas, it was like, oh, it's long, it's boring, I didn't like it. When I watched it again, I loved it, and I've loved it since. So maybe it's a case of watch it again with dumbed down expectations and appreciate the film more. I'm not sure about that.
Well, that's what happened with the first Blade Runner, I guess. I mean, I've only seen the first Blade Runner once, so my opinion is still quite bad on that film, but I think we can only give you our opinion now on what we thought of the film
Which is why, so at the moment, 4 out of 10. And that's only because of the production value. It was beautiful, and the acting was really good. But the storyline, it loses the 6 points.
Okay, interesting. Movie.
I've 2 out of 10.
Really? Wow.
Because of the fact that it was a complete waste of time. Simple as that. It's a complete waste of time. I went into a movie, came out, none the wiser. Like I didn't think to myself, I've gone in and watched the movie. I've gone in thinking, I don't understand. Like, I've just wasted time. And if I'm wasting time, the production can be as amazing as possible. The acting can be, but if the movie's a waste of time, it's a waste of time.
I think a lot of people.
So 2 out of 10.
I think,
and you can revisit your 5 out of 10.
No, I think I'm going to stick by my 5 just to piss you off, but it's all good. Now I think a lot of people are going to probably. I'm saying a lot of people are going to watch this. Whoever ends up listening to this, whenever, who are kind of into movies and stuff. They're gonna probably think, oh, you guys just didn't get it. It was just too above your heads and all that kind of stuff. And it's not even that. It's just the fact that it was just too slow and too boring for us. And that's our own opinion. And we're gonna be honest with that, I guess. You know what I mean? We can't kind of not be true to ourselves and say it was awesome and it wasn't.
I think the one positive that I have to say, Ryan Gosling's jacket.
That was a nice jacket, man.
A nice jacket.
That's H&M, man. You gotta
the leather.
The long leather,
His dope.
There you go.
Anyway, as always, guys, you can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, Instagram, even though we don't do anything on there, at Roadman Reviews. I said Twitter, didn't I?
Yeah.
On obviously our YouTube channel, which you're probably watching this on, that one person. Shout out to you. Other than that, we'll wrap up. A bit of a quick one today, but yeah, it's all good. So, thank you all for listening, guys, and we will speak to you very soon. Question, actually, do you want to give these guys the questions even though they won't answer? Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. From what you've heard, from our points, what is the biggest point you disagree with? What is it that made Blade Runner, the pacing, the story? Concentrate on that. What made it work for you?
My question is, if anyone's listening, did anyone understand the movie? And if so, please comment and say, yeah, this movie was about such and such and such. So at least we understand what the movie was about. Because at the moment, it's like.
So basically, he's just told you my question. As you can see, we didn't understand the movie to the point where we understand his review.
No.
You didn't understand it?
No.
At all?
No.
You understood the movie. You didn't, like, it wasn't a case of you had no idea what was going on.
My question, if you understood the movie, audience, please let me know.
Send him a handwritten letter to Wait, what's the cave that Joe did this time? I don't know, fuck it. We're wrapping up this shit, we're going over, man. Anyway, we're gonna probably talk about Thor next week, so that should hopefully be fucking sick compared to this shit. And we'll be swinging our hammers around then, and we'll see you then. Thank you all for our review and catch you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.